Good morning, 5th grade. Today I'm going to walk through how to create a Google survey. I'm guessing most of you have never created a Google survey before, although you have probably taken one in a classroom as maybe an exit ticket, a quiz, or even a test. So to get started, the first thing you need to do is to go into Google Drive. From there, you're going to click the New button. And on the menu, you can see we have our normal Google Docs, Sheets, Slides, but right below is More. On the More menu, you're going to slide over, and the top option is Google Forms. From here, it will load the basic template. By default, the color is already set to purple, and we'll talk about how you can change that in a little bit. The first thing I want to point out is the untitled form. This is your Google survey file name. So up here, I'm just going to type in birthday party. And this is not the topic that you'll be doing for your ELA survey. It was just a quick, easy topic for me to go through the different question types with you today. Once I have named the file, when I come down to my actual survey and click the untitled form, notice the two titles sync. If you want these titles to be different, you can. You can actually just come into the title area of the form, and maybe you can just put in here my 11th birthday party. Also, below the title is an area for a description. So if you wanted to, you could be a little bit more specific of the purpose of your survey. So for this survey, I might say, I'm gathering information Depending on your survey for ELA, you may put a description here. You may just leave it blank because it might not need one. Now, by default, the first question is already sitting here, and if I click in this area, it expands so that I can now work beyond that question. By default, also, the question style is multiple choice. If I come over here to the drop-down menu, I can see the different types of questions. I have a short answer. So that would be a question that maybe, like on a quiz or a test, it might be asking for your name at the very top. It's just a very short, limited number of characters that are allowed in the short answer. The next question type is paragraph. So teachers may select this type of a question if they are doing more of an essay style question. I'm thinking for what you're doing, you probably won't use either of these question styles, but they are available if you need them. The next is multiple choice. Here again, A, B, C, D, or as many of those choices as you need, with one particular correct answer. The checkboxes are used when you have a question and you want to allow your responder to check all that apply. So in this case, you can have more than one answer. The drop-down menu is similar to things that you've done on different types of forms and things when you've signed up for things. It's the text box with the arrow or caret that when you click, it opens up a menu, you select one answer, and it autofills based on the predetermined choices that are in the drop-down menu. File upload, not sure that you'll be using that, but that's where I could actually upload something from, say, Google Drive or my computer and use that for a question. Linear scale is one I will show you. It's a ranking question, so like from 1 to 5, and then the responder has to choose where they feel that they fall based on the question. The multiple choice grid, I am going to skip that one. If you want to look at it later on when you're working, you can. The one I would like to show you is the checkbox grid. That would be more of another ranking type of a question where you could put first, second, third choice kind of thing. So I will use that for you to look at and see how that works. So let's get started. This first question, I am going to type in here, what is your favorite pizza topping? Question mark. Now, if you look at this, I'm going to actually change this because I forgot. I'm going to ask, what are your favorite pizza toppings? So I'm going to go back and fix this. And as soon as I do, you'll notice over here, it automatically switched from multiple choice to checkboxes. That's because Google Form realizes that I'm asking a question that allows for more than one answer. So I don't even have to change it, but that's something to point out for you, that you watch carefully, because your question style may change on you as you're working based on how you ask your question. Alright, so I'm going to get started and type up some questions or options here. And I'll scroll down a little bit. You'll notice now at the bottom I have an option to add another choice, or I have the add other. So what I'm going to do is actually choose the add other. These are the 4 basic choices I wanted to put on, and then this allows the people taking the survey to click that box, but then add an ingredient of their own choice. All I did is, after I typed pepperoni, I pressed enter and it took me down to the next option. So as you're typing, when you finish an option, when you press enter, it will automatically take you down to option 2, option 3, option 4. Now, at the bottom, we have the option to duplicate this question. You probably won't need to use that option, but sometimes teachers will use that, because if it's the same type of question, they only maybe have to change a couple of things rather than creating a whole new question. So that's an option. Delete, if for some reason you feel like this question is absolutely not what you wanted to ask, you want to start over, then you can delete. The required button here, I'm going to turn that on, because this is a question that I want all responders to do. So that's what required means, that each person taking the survey is required to answer this question. And then you can see the menu arrow or dots here. We can add a description. So if I want to, I could come up here and click in the description and just say, check all that apply, letting my people taking the survey realize or know that they can check more than one answer. The other options in the menu were response validation, shuffle, option order. Those are things you won't be using for your survey. So moving on, I'll click the plus to add a new question. So you can see it's filled in down here at the bottom. And this question automatically is multiple choice. That's the default setting like we talked about before. So here, I'm going to type in, what is your beverage choice? You can see that it changed on my question. It went from multiple choice to short answer. And I am going to go back. Oh, it automatically went back to multiple choice for me. So pay attention as you're working on your survey and don't get frustrated, because it will do that. So right here, I'm going to type in Pepsi, Coke, root beer, Mountain Dew. And then with this question, I'm also going to add other. I know when I did this on Friday with Mrs. Lax's afternoon ELA class, some students were suggesting milk, water, and then I know in another class somebody said lemonade. So by giving the other choice, you are allowing them to maybe make a selection that isn't on your list up above. Again, this is a multiple choice question, so they'll only be able to select one answer. So if they don't like the top 4 that I've typed in, they can click other and then respond by typing in that answer. Again, this is a question I'm going to make required, because I want this information to help me do the shopping in preparation for the party, if this was actually happening. Alright, so we'll move on to another question style. And this next question is where I'm going to use that linear question. So I'm going to come over here. Well, actually, first of all, I'm going to do a drop down, excuse me. So I'm going to click on drop down, and in here, I'm going to type in dessert, and then I can put in here cake, and then I'm just pressing enter, ice cream, and then I'll do cake and ice cream. Notice I don't have an add other because this is a drop down menu, so they're not going to have the option to be able to type a selection. This also will be a required question, so I'm going to slide that arrow over so that the responders have to answer this question. So again, this is the drop down. It's going to look like this, where they'll have that caret, they'll click on it, these three choices will be there. They can only choose one of the three. Now we're going to go and add another question, and this one is going to be the linear scale. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to type in type of movie. So my one, I'm going to put super sweet, something more like a friendly Disney type movie or G-rated. And then down here we're going to type in scare my pants off. So something maybe a little bit scarier. At this point, I'm going to also make this a required question. Some of you are probably wondering what these questions actually look like. In a moment, I'll take you out to the live form so we can actually look at it, and I will take the form also so you can see it. So this is a scale. They'll rank from 1 to 5 what type of movie they like. Now I'm going to go into the plus here and add one more question, and it's going to be another movie question, so I would not ask these two at the same time, but I want to show you another way you could ask that type of a question with a ranking in a different form. This is the one I'm going to do, the checkbox grid. So for this question, I'm going to put rank the movies listed below. So you might want to add a description here, but I think it would be pretty much self-explanatory. So, and I know it's close to Halloween, so that was kind of the theme I was using the previous days. We'll type in Halloween Town, and then maybe Goosebumps, and then what do we do? It's a Great Pumpkin. Brigade Charlie Brown with CV. Again, notice you don't have an add other option. I'm not going to press enter right now because if I do, it will give me an option 4, and I don't have an option 4. Maybe these are the 3 movies Mom and Dad have given me the choice to use for my birthday party, so that's what I'm going to put in here. Now, these are the row headings. My column headings I'm going to add in here. I know the other days I just put 1, 2, 3, but maybe we'll put in here to make it more clear to our responders. We'll put first choice, second choice, and third choice. And again, I'm going to make this a required question so that you can see what those look like. So at this point, I'm going to not add any other questions, but I'm going to show you some things you can add in here as well. The double T's is for adding another title and description. So if you were doing something where you might split off to another section, you may want to add a title and description. For your survey, they're going to be fairly short. I don't think there'll be more than 5 questions. You won't need to do that, but it's an option for later on if you're doing something with a Google form. Next, I can add an image. So if I click on that, maybe I could come in here and search. I'll type in birthday party, and we can type in something in here. And let's say we want to do this picture. So I'm going to click select. It's going to fill in down below here. So if I wanted to, I can have this maybe at the top for an image or whatever. Over here, the 3 dots give me the opportunity to choose my alignment. I can change the picture. I can remove it if I decide I don't need it. So I'm going to center align this, and then I'm going to also come in and click on it and shrink it. It doesn't need to be quite that large. So if I wanted to, I can add a title in here as well. The next option over here to add is a video. So notice I'm in YouTube right away, or if I know of something on the web. But I'm just going to type in here, let's just do it that way, birthday song. So happy birthday pops up here right away. I'm just going to click on it to select it, click the select button, and again it's going to fill in down here below. Notice it's smaller than the image just because it's that video format. And then I do have the alignment option over here so I can center it if I prefer. And then I can put a heading in here as well. And here again I can duplicate this, I can delete it, all those things I could do with the other type of question. So at this point I'm going to pause or stop the video and continue on in step 2.